We're here today at the WatchTime event. This is a lovely event. We're here today with the man himself, Joe Thompson. The man himself, he's a watch guru for his publishing, magazines, and everything like that. So, Joe, how did this get started? We're glad that we can have some of your time today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you.
Okay.
How I got started, literally, I answered an ad. I answered an ad for a magazine that was a business-to-business magazine. And I was assigned to cover watches. But the significant thing here was 1977. And that was the thick of the quartz watch crisis. And I found it really, really extremely interesting. The Swiss were the champions, but their mechanical technology was old-fashioned. So the Japanese came in during this quartz watch crisis, and they had the newfangled battery-operated, slim, chic, ultra-accurate electronic watches. And the watch world was at war. And in the beginning, I was just covering sort of the watch wars. You didn't know much, but you knew one thing. And you knew that the mechanical watch was doomed. And the reason you knew that is because everybody told you so. Everybody in the business knew, well, the mechanical watch is doomed. So since then, I've covered 3 revolutions. We had the quartz watch revolution of the 1970s, the fashion watch revolution of the 1980s, that was Swatch, that led directly to Fossil. But the big one for our guys, and for me, was the mechanical watch counter-revolution that came in the 1990s and is ongoing. And so I just found this whole industry absolutely fascinating, and I have stayed with it. And I may be covering the 4th revolution, which could be the smartwatch revolution. It all depends on how well Apple does with the Apple Watch.
Now, you said you went through the revolution. Now, what I'm seeing is a lot of companies are going more in-house.
Right, and making their own movements. That's
making
right.
Their own movement.
What prompted it was that the Swatch Group, which is the largest watch group in the world, was wanting to limit the supplies of movements to the other brands. Swatch Group wanted the brands to start making their own movements themselves. They didn't want to start supplying all the mechanical movements. That was fine for quartz. But now for mechanical, they're saying, you guys really should start making your own movements. We don't want to be your in-house movement maker. I mean, we have our own brands that we have to make our own movements for. So historically, we supplied you with this, but now you've got to start making your own. So that's why everybody's starting to hear about it.
Okay.
We just have to wait and see whether or not the Apple Watch, and it really all relies on the Apple Watch, because the previous smartwatches have not really done that well. Apple is a different game. Point 1 for me is that I tend to be skeptical a little bit. I know I'm an old guy and it's not for me, but the reason is that I'm skeptical because of the size of the human wrist. It's just, there's only so much that you could, I think, and it's asking a lot, for any watch, the Apple Watch, to have all these apps and all these displays and all the rest on a wrist piece. And that's my point. I'm not sure that Apple Watch is going to be big enough to handle all the demands that are made of it. Now, if it does, then yes, that will be a new revolution, and there will be casualties. There are many, many reasons that the mechanical watch came back, but one of them was the tremendous advances in microengineering technology, so that you could get more and more parts into smaller and smaller space. And what added value to the watch was the complications. So you're getting watches that have 200, 300, 400 parts, moving parts, many of them, inside something the size of a postage stamp. And it was just technologically astonishing.
What we are also trying to bring to the forefront as well is kind of bringing the younger generation back into the horology, because I think that's missing.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? So, just outlets like, one of our producers, a couple of our producers, they're younger guys and things like that. So we're getting them back into horology. So we want to see that. And maybe we kind of do something next year for My Watch Lifestyle WatchTime.
You're doing very important work. You are missionaries with the watch message to a whole new generation, and they're responding. That's what I love to see.
We're glad you gave us a minute.
Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
MyWatchLifestyle.com.
Okay.